Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cassandra's Garden. Peace and love. So, grab your coffee cups and sit back and let's make this divine lemon pound cake together. And the reason I call it divine lemon pound cake is because that is exactly what this is. This is the best recipe for lemon pound cake you will ever eat in your life, you will ever try. You've got to write these instructions and the recipe down while you're watching this video, because if you do and you keep it, you will not regret it. I shared this recipe on Facebook several years ago, and people went nuts over it. There was this one particular lady. She is a wonderful wife, wonderful homemaker, wonderful mother, wonderful grandmother, and she loved it. What made me feel so good about her actually loving it is she is quite the cook herself. She can cook really well. She's got very high end taste, and she went nuts over this recipe. And she asked me where I got it, and I said, Kim, I said I kind of invented it myself. I just played around many years with different elements for lemon pound cake because it's one of my favorite pound cakes, and I came up with this recipe, and she to this day has this recipe, and she makes it frequently for her and her family, and other people who can cook really, really well love this recipe. So I was really honored by these people who can really, really cook. Like they're nothing short of a chef, and they really went crazy over this recipe. This cake is so good, y'all. It's so good with a cup of coffee. It's great with lemonade or strawberry lemonade or blueberry lemonade or lavender lemonade. It's wonderful in the spring, summer, winter, fall. It's wonderful if you've got a friend or a loved one who's feeling down. Make this cake, because we all know that lemon just brightens your mood. I've had a lemony day. I actually just got out of my morning shower, and I used for my company, Vibe Beautiful, I make and I offer it, I sell it on Etsy. It's a lemon poppy sugar scrub, and I exfoliate every single day. I put it all over my face, all over my body. While I'm in the shower, I wash, and then I exfoliate, and I got out of the shower smelling like lemons and sunshine, and then I came in here and I started preparing everything for my lemon pound cake, and I can't stop smiling. So I just know today is going to be a great day, because you can't go wrong with lemon. And did you know, let me give you a little bit of history about lemon. Did you know in folklore and in the magical world, that community, lemon is known to ward off evil spirits, cleanse the home, and elevate the mood. So you can't go wrong here, guys and gals. All right, so let's get started. In my stand mixer, I have 1 cup of butter, and this is the butter that I make. And if you would like to learn how to make your own butter, please check out my video on my YouTube. I actually made this butter, and it's delicious, but it takes forever to soften. So you need 1 cup of softened butter. Okay. To the 1 cup of butter, we're going to add our sugar. But first, let's get started with all the other ingredients. So you're going to need 1 cup of butter, and I have that here in my stand mixer. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I have sifted this twice. You're going to need 3/4 cups of buttermilk, and this is the buttermilk that I have after I make my butter. So this is going to be an even more scrumptious pound cake. You're going to need 5 eggs at room temperature. The buttermilk needs to be room temperature, and the butter needs to be softened. You're going to need 2 cups of white granulated sugar and the zest of 2 lemons. Look at that gorgeous zest. When I was zesting those 2 lemons, guys and gals, let me tell y'all something. Oh, it smelled so good. It just made me so happy. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon, you may not can see it in here, but it's in there. It's 1 teaspoon of lemon extract. You're also going to need the juice of 2 lemons, which we will be juicing these lemons. These are the lemons that I just zested, and they are ready and to go, and we're going to use their lemon juice. So, before we combine our sugar and butter, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to whisk together our flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. So, here's our flour. It's 3 cups. I've sifted it twice. We're going to add our 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add our 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And we're going to add our 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And yes, you may have heard my little grandson in the background screaming. He loves to be heard. He's just like his daddy. So we're just going to whisk our dry ingredients together. Now, we're going to mix together our butter and sugar. But before we do that, we're going to combine our buttermilk with our lemon zest and our lemon juice. So take your lemon zest, take your lemon zest of 2 lemons. Let's put that right there so y'all can see what I'm doing. And here's the buttermilk, and it's 3/4 cups. Let me move these eggs out of the way. So we're going to combine our lemon zest with our room temperature buttermilk. You just put it in there like that. Now let's go ahead and juice our 2 lemons. Just trying to fix it where you can see everything. Right there. So I'm just going to juice these 2 lemons because I don't like to waste. Now the recipe calls for 1/3 cup of lemon juice. That's my recipe, but I have found that if I just juice 2 lemons, I've got plenty of juice, and I just use it all so that I don't waste, because I can't stand to cut up a vegetable or a fruit and then not use it all. And then you can actually use this part for compost. And if you don't know what 1/3 of a cup is, 1/3 of a cup is between, it's the little line between 1/4 and 1/2 cup. That's 1/3 of a cup. Excuse me. It's between the 1/2 and the 2/3, I think. Yes, that's right. I'll double check that. Let me double check that right fast. I don't want to tell you wrong. It's not. It's between the 1/2 and the 2/3. And that was my dog Wyatt growling at absolutely nothing. So, since I brought that up, let's just see what 1/3, where it is on your measuring cup. Because a lot of people don't have 1/3 cup. Okay, so the 1/3 cup is between the, oh, I was right. It's between the 1/2 and the 2/3 cup. But let me double check, because I don't want to tell anybody wrong. Let's see here. Come on. Okay, I was right. I was right the first time. The 1/3 cup is between the 1/4 and the 1/2 cup. I always get that confused. So just remember, to measure 1/3 cup precisely, it's between the 1/4 and a 1/2. So it's that line in between. See, here's 1/4, okay? Here's 1/2, because usually measuring devices don't have that 1/3. If you can find a individual 1/3 cup measuring device, then you have found something gold. Get it while you can. But if you don't have that, just remember it's that little line between the 1/4 and the 1/2 a cup. So, like I said, I always get that confused, but here's the 1/4 line, okay, and then up here's the half a cup line. So the 1/3 will be in between the 1/4 and the 1/2. That's a 1/3 of a cup. But I found that just juicing my 2 lemons is the perfect amount. I always get a 1/3 of a cup. So we're going to add our buttermilk, lemon juice, and lemon zest. So let's add that together. Perfect. And then we just had a little bit of math, a little bit of a math class. Did y'all think I'd be a cool math teacher? I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to cream the room temperature butter and the sugar together. And that's 2 cups of sugar. Let me get my paddle attachment. You guys, I'm always so unprepared every time. I'm always forgetting something. Right when I think I've got everything ready, there's always something that I'm going to need. Every time. It never fails. And I think, okay, I'm prepared for this video, so that way I don't have to waste everybody's time, and it never fails. I'm always unprepared with something. So we're going to cream the butter and the sugar together. And don't forget to sip your coffee while you're making this. Okay, that looks really good. The sugar's light and fluffy. It's starting to get really nice and combined. So now we're going to add all the eggs one at a time. So let's, and I need to make sure, nope, I don't need anything else. I've got everything I need. So let's add the eggs one at a time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And I forgot to tell you guys and gals something. I've made this before for people who swear up and down that they do not like anything lemon. They do not like pound cake. They turned into lovers of my Divine Lemon Pound Cake. I'm telling you. Now, we're going to add our flour mixture and our buttermilk mixture alternately. So, bear with me while I do this. This smells so wonderful. Divine. That's the only word that I can use to describe this cake is divine. Now, we're not going to be nowhere near done even after we bake it, because we're going to make the best lemon glaze you've ever had in your life. There has been so many people that have tried to compete with me, because when I shared this recipe, people went nuts over it. And some people even stole, well, they took credit for it, and they won prizes. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to say anything, because I've got my recipe and the date that I created it wrote down, and that's okay. It's okay. That's all right. That's how good this is. God, it smells so good, you guys and gals. I'm not going to say who, but if they're watching, just know that I know. But I have been told you can't, copyright a recipe or anything like that, but it's okay. I didn't get the credit, but I know where they got it from. And they do too. Just grabbing my spatula so that I can put down the sides. And I came up with this recipe, and I'll tell you, y'all are going to laugh at me how I came up with this recipe. I was reading a book that belonged to me while I was in the lobby at the orthodontist office when my daughter got her braces. And every month we had to take her to the orthodontist to tighten her braces, and they checked her every month. And I was in the lobby, just waiting. And that's how I came up with this recipe. And I just jotted it down. I wrote it down. And my daughter, she hated her braces. She hated them. She's glad that she got them now, but she hated them back then because they were very painful. Especially when she would get them tightened up. And she would just be so ill and wanting to just sleep, and she'd just be in a lot of pain. So when we got home, I gave her some Tylenol. She laid down and watched TV, and I made this cake. And she actually started feeling a little bit better, and she ate a piece of this cake, and it was so soft. It didn't hurt her braces, and she loved it. Well, that was the start of my viral Divine Lemon Pound Cake, because this actually did go viral. This recipe went viral. People just loved it. Alrighty, now I've already got my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which we will be baking our pound cake for roughly about an hour, but you just need to keep a check on it. I would suggest you set your timer for 30 minutes and then check it, and then if it's still not done, then bake for